So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dapper Reacts, and of course, first off, yeah, we're taking a drink for Dapper's Professional, because I clicked on the wrong scene twice. So yeah. So that is the thing that happened. And then Kip, of course, asked if I forgot to mute him while he was muted, because no, of course I didn't forget to mute him. I remember.
One of these days, he's gonna forget.
And you're gonna be on a hot mic?
One of these days.
I always tell you to assume that you're on a hot mic, because it's safer that way.
He just ignores it and starts talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's because I have nothing consequential to say.
Well, I'm just saying,
That
like,
is why.
hey, maybe there are some things that you don't want to have as, like, just everyone hears it, because that's the whole usual problem with a hot mic. Like, you never hear about, like, a news report where it's like, oh, the president was caught on a hot mic warmly greeting a senator. Like, that's, like, okay, yeah, sure, that might happen, but, like, no one cares. It's only when it's embarrassing that it becomes newsworthy, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not saying don't say anything on a hot mic. I'm just saying, you know, only say things that you would want to say on a hot mic while you're in the pre-show.
I guess I should say, one of these days it's going to catch up with me too.
It might. We got a few things to read here. Ben Thick Tunicate, who's been a member for 33 months, says, and on that day, God caused a disgusting worm, the appearance of the man's reproductive appendage to come forth, and he saw it was AIG, and we'll take a drink for that. Thank you very much. And then Ben Thick Tunicate also sent 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships, so we're going to take 5 drinks for that before we even get into this.
Very nice. Somebody said something about my volume.
I can turn you up a bit, I suppose.
It was just one person, so maybe it's...
You are a little low. Let me see what I can do.
Am I?
Yeah, but that might be on my end.
I could do it on, even though I never touched this dial. I could. There. Let's see.
Oh, you're a little louder.
If I increase my...
Yeah.
Am I? Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Then Rosha...
I'm just glad touching the dial didn't just crash the entire system.
Yeah, like just OBS just breaks. Roshina for $4.99 says, Kip hair. Kip, you do have some glorious hair today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's nice of you to say so.
All right. So let's go over the preamble stuff. First, how's everybody doing? Kip, you okay?
Doing okay. I got lots of sleep last night.
That's
I was
nice.
actually awake at 7
What's that like?
this morning. Well, it was new for me for like it's been a little while, but yeah, I was awake at 7, which is like normal when I don't set my alarm. So that was nice, and I'm enjoying a beer this afternoon. So there's a hockey game that's starting in an hour.
Okay.
So that's also good. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ted is Matt for $5 says Kip's hot mic is, quote, I don't actually like the Bible, guys, end quote. AIG is a bag of Nathaniel Jeanson. Thank you very much. We'll take a drink. All right. So, Vishanti, how you doing?
Thank you. I was literally about to interrupt you.
Like I wasn't going to get to you.
Listen, after the kind of day and the week that I had, I assume nothing.
That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the audience, I'm sure, is putting this together. I didn't have a real super great Friday. My week was up and down, but yeah, yesterday was
pretty rough. Not as rough as that one guy you know about. The one who caused you to have such a late night.
Oh, well, yeah. Somebody yesterday apparently got in front of the train that I happened to be riding on with other passengers. So we came to a preliminary or preemptive stop. Preemptive, preliminary. premature. Is that the
Premature,
word
I
I'm
think,
looking
is
for?
probably the word you're looking for, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We came to a stop before our destination, and that caused some pretty significant delays on top of an already not great day that I'd had. So, yeah.
But on the bright side, you
I'm
weren't hit
not.
by a train.
No, I wasn't. I would be in incredible shape if I were sitting here after all that.
It only
I'm not
brushed you.
doing great.
I don't
I'm
know.
very
That ice
stressed out
agent had
and
internal
very,
bleeding, so
very
you know.
not enthusiastic about my housing situation.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, Shanti's channel should be linked in the description, and there's a Patreon over there. So, if you want to help out. And also, there are perks on there too, if I remember correctly. And also, Carnival Frog just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships, and I took my drinks while Vishanti was talking. And I have also incremented the drink counter 5 times by an interval of 1, in case anyone is wondering. Because technically I can set the interval to other things. I don't want. Alright, so we do have a super chat goal here. If we can get to 30 super chats before the timer runs out, or before the show ends, we will first unleash Kip, and there is a vote here. So right now, there are a few options as to what else we could do. What's winning right now is English as She Is Spoke reading. So I have a copy of English as She Is Spoke, which was very, very nicely gifted to me. And if that wins the poll, if we get to 30, I will read it. Also, Dapper Wears a Suit Tuesday is one of the options. And Dapper explains why he's not a linguist is the last option. If it's too late for the bonus condition to really be effectively met, like, you know, if we get the 30 and it's like on the wire from when we're closing out, I will move that to the next live stream, so it'll be on Tuesday, unless it's Dapper Wears a Suit, in which case I'll just wear the suit Tuesday. It doesn't move anywhere. It's fine. So basically, you know, if it's like, I don't know, like 1:45 Mountain Standard, and we only got like, you know, a few minutes left, and then we gotta close it up, I'll just do an English as She Is Spoke reading on Tuesday. Speaking of...
You are very determined to get your money's worth out of that human suit in another suit.
I mean,
you've got.
It's losing right now. So I also want to say thank you very much.
Did you...
Sorry?
No, I was just gonna say though, this is something that I am a little... So did you wear you put on your human suit with the suit when you went to your the wedding?
Yes.
Is that...
Yeah.
Why?
There's no traditional outfit for a dinosaur at a wedding. So there's no, like, what do you wear?
I don't know.
Plus, do you know how much more money it would cost to get a suit for a dinosaur made?
Couldn't you just have gone without wearing anything?
Well, it's not a Betazoid wedding.
To the wedding. Yeah, but I mean, you wear every goddamn day that you're on here, you wear nothing but a top hat and a monocle and a tie.
Yeah, but that's casual for me.
So put on, like, I don't know, you could put a pocket square somewhere.
I don't have a pocket.
Or just that's why I said somewhere. You could tie it on to the string of the monocle.
It's just like a nautical
and call
flag.
It just I don't know. It feels like a lot. Like it really does. So
I'll tell you what, Kip.
I'm sorry you had to suffer through that.
If you decide to get married again and you invite me, I'll go naked. How's that?
Beautiful.
All right.
I'll
Problem solved. All right. I want to say thank you. I got a gift of a pack of jalapeno spam, which, by the way, I'm planning to try this weekend. And the card said, "Hope this gets to you and turns out better than the Borg duck I sent to FTFE. That Amazon sends something else in its place." From Borg Emporia. Do you know the story about the FTFE Borg duck fiasco?
Yeah, I've heard this story. Yes,
yeah.
I believe I heard Craig tell it.
Yeah. So in case anyone is unaware,
pretty great.
Borg Emporia tried to send a rubber duck that had been assimilated by the Borg as a little joke gift, and when that package arrived, inside instead was a vibrator, which is not what had been ordered. So as far as I know, it's still not clear whether or not Craig is getting that Borg duck, but he does have the vibrator in its package up in his streaming room as, you know, a little decoration there, as far as I know. So, yep, thanks Amazon. I'm assuming that was a robot in the warehouse that messed that up. That's what I think happened. Yeah, which is why we should totally give our entire decision-making apparatus over to robots. Great idea.
Just so we're clear, Rena Vaste, the chances of a wedding, of another wedding happening in my future are slim to none.
You could just have one for funsies.
I guess I could.
Yeah,
but you know
Also,
what?
you can,
I don't know.
You
They're
can
not.
be in a
they're not
relationship with a person
fun.
and not marry them.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just a
right.
thing that can happen.
It's a thing that could happen, and if it's some other people's weddings are fun, or they should be, right? When it's your wedding, it's stressful as hell and not at all fun. So,
Which is why you
like,
don't
I don't
have
even
to have them.
exactly. So I mean, in response to Dapper's comment, I just don't even know why I would do one for funsies. Like, it's not. It just
That's fair. I mean, I
right?
feel like my brother probably didn't have too stressful because they decided to go for like a small wedding, and like the reception, a big portion of the food was just like, just make some nachos. There you go, make some nachos, and like instead of having like hiring a bartender, they were like, there's coolers full of different kinds of booze, and here are some bottles of wine that you can just pour from. Here are some plastic cups and wine glasses that you can pour into if you want to. And my brother chose a very nice piano arrangement of the main theme of Star Wars to walk down the aisle to. So that was fun.
Brilliant! Wow,
Yeah.
that's that actually does sound really good.
Yeah, and the instead of having a guest book or anything, people were asked to sign the inside cover of the Star Wars book that hid the proposal for the wedding that happened in the first place, which meant it was a lightly Star Wars themed wedding. So that was fun. And then
Lightly.
Well, so
you
like
walk down the aisle to.
So like
Come on
no
now.
one was in costume for Star Wars. There was no like, you know, like Rebel Alliance symbols anywhere or anything. So if you didn't, other than that song
Look,
and that book,
in terms of
you
weddings, themed weddings, nobody will ever top my friend's Klingon wedding,
Yeah,
where
that's-
they and the entire wedding party were in full Klingon makeup, attire. They hand sewed banners in Klingon with their like family
That's
name on
nice.
it. It was a whole thing. Like they did the whole. There was like a ceremony they integrated with the batleth in it. So yeah, no one's ever topping that. It was obviously they're people I go to cosplay conventions and stuff with, but yeah, no one's
Right.
ever topping it.
And you know, Deep Space Nine
Did-
gave us the entire template for a Klingon wedding, so you can just do that now.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true.
We have a $4.99 super chat from
see,
Roshna, who says Dixie Perfect Touch insulated paper coffee cups are surprisingly expensive at 20 cents each. Jeez. Each for 160. Sorry, for 160 at total. But OCD demands them. Well, I'm sorry because that is somewhat ridiculously expensive. Yeah, that's silly. Metageeky for $5 says maybe a Borg Amazon worker took action against the mockery of their Borgness. And speaking of things with tubes, AIG is a bag of male urea tracts.
I don't
Sorry,
know that
take a
they
drink.
can Borg be insulted.
I mean, so normally I would say no, but given that the Borg Queen makes everything weird and kind of dumb,
Can we
yeah,
just
probably.
not? The
Yeah.
Borg Queen, that is so dumb.
Yeah.
They're a hive mind. No, they're not. Just kidding.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actually this
right?
one lady. They're
Yeah.
actually just her.
Hated that so
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well-
I get why they did it because they wanted a villain that
I
you
was
could point
so
to,
I was
but yeah.
I was so excited about that movie too.
I mean, as far as
when it
action
came
movies
out.
go, like it's not a terrible action movie. As far as Star Trek movies
No,
go,
it's good,
eh,
right?
eh.
But I was like, yeah, like I had great anticipation, and I mean, there's good parts of it too. Like the Zephyrin Cochrane stuff is pretty good in that movie. But I don't know.
Someone in the chat
The,
saying they
uh,
don't believe that my friends had a Klingon wedding, which is really weird because I have the photos, but okay.
Yeah, I've
Sure.
also seen photos independently, because guess how many Klingon weddings there have been, and guess how many times I've talked to basically the majority of the people who speak Klingon and would consult on that kind of a thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. Klingon weddings are a thing that you
Okay.
can find. Roshida for $9.99 says the only wedding I ever went to, I ever went to only occurred because they were trying to save a failing relationship. Oh no. He later cheated on her
boy.
just because, in order to definitely end the relationship. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bad
Y'all,
reason to get
coming
married.
from someone, the longer you know me, the more you'll realize this is just advice that I give just normally, but you don't have to follow the commonly accepted life script for your life. You don't have to do that,
Yep, you can do something else.
okay?
The
Just
weirdo-
because people, this is the way it's done, doesn't mean you have to do it. Well, you grow up, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, you settle down. You don't have to do that. Yeah, well, I've been with
Yeah.
someone, I have to get married. No, you don't.
No, there might be practical reasons to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There
Let's
might be
see.
practical, legal, you
See,
know,
I think
whatever.
like I think
Assets,
that's kind of where I'm
insurance.
at. Hmm.
The weirdo-
I'm of the attitude that I've been there, done that.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think I'm all that interested in doing it again. So
The weirdo CK Evans, who's been a member for 3 months at the Tetrapod level, says the Boar Queen ruins the whole shtick. And
Yep.
then there's a Mothra. I'll
Agreed.
take a drink. And yeah, that's probably true. Alright, so we are here primarily to talk about Nick here from Signs and Wonders, and FAD, which stands for Fat Ass Dog, and then apparently his channel name has the word Emperor after there, so I don't know why he's not Fade, but it probably should be Fade. And they are both the broiest of AI bros, is probably how I would describe them.
Dutch Tunica in the chat is saying my family is passive aggressive at me for not following the standard life script. Mine didn't get passive aggressive, they were just regular aggressive. And it took them a while, but they eventually figured out, because I'm very, very stubborn, that I'm going to do what I want to do. And if they don't like it, tough tootie.
Tough Tootie.
There you go.
Ouch.
AmbiZ
Ouch.
for $5 says, it's not premarital sex if you never get married, with the glasses
That's right.
smiley face. It's true. That's true. It's not premarital if you never get married.
That's right.
It's
Checkmate.
It's just extramarital.
That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's a very weird way to define that. Because it just kind of assumes marriage is the center default. Like, I don't grant that. So
I mean, yeah, it does. But also, welcome to Western civilization, where that has been the assumed default for millennia.
you've known me long enough to know I don't give a about.
Oh, I'm not saying
assumptions
you
and
should care about it.
default,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that's why the linguistic construct
Well,
is
that's
there.
something that my family and some of my friends growing up, they just didn't seem to ever fathom that you could question it. And I'm like, wait, why do I have to do this thing? They're like, well,
What you do. Tad is mad for $5 says, my ex and I married largely so she could be on my insurance because America is the worst. Oh, I have extra characters. Godzilla, Mothra. Well, we'll take a drink for that.
Nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, so these two...
I think that would probably to me, I'm very like non-traditional in that way. I would probably do it for a practical reason like that.
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of practical reasons. All right, so these guys are looking at a picture from The Visual Capitalist, which is a website that, as far as I know, only has this picture on it, because I do not care what else is on that website. I have not looked at what else is on that website. I don't know if that
The
site
Visual Capitalist?
Yep. I don't know what this has to do with
Do
capitalism.
we know anything about...
Nope.
Okay.
Don't know a thing. I don't care. Because, I mean, frankly, it's not like...
They don't care.
They don't care either, yeah. But it's not like The Visual Capitalists where you should be going to learn science, right? And to be fair, this is not purporting to be like reporting on all of the evidence and the scientific consensus on evolution. This is a painting for babies. Well, not for babies, but for lay people who do not actually know anything about evolution, to get sort of the general gist.
Just a hunch.
No wrong to puts.
But I'm going to hunch that the visual capitalist is maybe not a place you should go to learn anything. Just a hunch.
I see why
Just
you
a
had that
hunch.
hunch. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I get why that would be a good hunch. Neuronopus for $5 says
Feeling hunchy about it.
Neuronopus for $5 says normalize the term intermarital sex. I guess no, that would be swinging. We already have a term for that. That's swinging. Yeah. And then I suppose intramarital sex would be just when you're having sex with. Yeah. I mean, if we want to keep that, like, the whole theme of putting prefix that is a Latin preposition, and then sex.
In retro, I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
What,
I'm
intramarital?
disappointed by that. No. Yeah.
Start saying it.
I'm gonna start using that with evangelical fundamentalists just to see how long.
100%, right? Yes.
I'm
yes.
Dude, you remember? You know those misogynist trolls that started the anti-suffrage movement?
Yes, and then a lot of fairly silly women were like, "Yeah, I'm against women's suffrage." It's like, oh no,
suffrage, because they heard suffer. If you started a campaign against intramarital sex, I guarantee you there are a lot of evangelical fundamentalists that would be like, "Yeah, I'm against it."
Yeah, get rid of intramarital sex.
So much, yes, incredible.
All right, so yeah, they're looking through this, and this is basically a list of organisms, and occasionally some wider group. Usually it's genera, but a few of these are larger groups. And everything in here, except for the first few at the very top of the thing, are things that there's just fossils of. Like they don't seem to realize that these are just the names of actual like organisms that there are fossils of. But we're following through basically the evolution of humans. And so for a long time, that's going to be the evolution of just tetrapods as a group, right? But we're now getting to the point where we're getting to early synapsids. So in case you don't know, amniotes, which is the group that includes reptiles and mammals, have a big division between sauropsids, which includes the diapsid, which is all the modern reptiles, as well as synapsids, which include mammals, but a whole lot of other things that weren't mammals that lived primarily... they had their heyday sort of in the Permian. The Permian was sort of the age of the synapsids. All the big megafauna were synapsids. They occupied most of the niches like, largest land herbivore, apex predator, as well as a whole bunch of other niches for smaller organisms. The sauropsids, the reptiles, if you will, were really in the background during the Permian. Then Permian extinction comes, and it wipes out almost all synapsid diversity, and sauropsids, in the form of diapsids primarily, take over for the rest of the Mesozoic. And then only at the end of the Cretaceous do we really get synapsids in the form of mammals coming back to fill a lot of megafaunal niches, although dinosaurs continue to do quite well. And as far as I know, there's still more species of dinosaur than species of mammal on Earth. So, I mean, there's
Dapper. That. In the chat, we have someone that wrote, "Hello," from Dougie Jones.
Nice. Yep, Dougie. Oh, you even said Dougie Jones, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah. I don't know if Noise Ending was here at the beginning of the stream, but I did actually go by David Lynch's grave marker yesterday to pay my respects. Lots of people did.
Yeah.
Met some new folks, and there were letters, little offerings of coffee, cherry pie, Cokes, American Spirit cigarettes, letters, blue roses, things like that. So, yeah.
People actually leave cherry pie there?
Yeah.
Those ants
like
are
just to biodegrade in the... Wow. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not like it's going to sit there forever. It's going to get eaten.
It's going to get eaten, that's true.
Someone's going to eat it.
It's good. Yeah.
The Cokes will probably have to get cleared away by some guy whose job it is to clear that stuff away.
Yeah, I mean,
it feels like if you're I was gonna say it feels like if you're in a bad state and struggling to afford food, that might be a good place to go and hang out.
I mean,
get some Coke.
It's not. Yeah, I guess,
cherry pie?
but
I wouldn't eat the ground cherry pie.
A slice of cherry pie. Yeah. It's not.
I'm not going to hang out.
But, like, people had it in a container. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There are people at the cemetery who will kind of tidy up a little, but also there are people in the community of David Lynch fans that will occasionally like keep it tidy and make sure it's not like super dirty. And one of his daughters, Jennifer, she's actually pretty hooked into like the social network of David Lynch fans, and she's very appreciative when people kind of tidy up the place. So
Nice. So, these guys have been largely just misunderstanding what every single bit of text here says. So, in the key to this picture, in the legends, if you will, green pluses, which they do appear a little like weirdly low saturation on their screen. When I looked at this image myself, like the saturation was different. I don't know what the deal is there, but anyway, the green plus marks indicate traits that are gained, whereas the red minus marks, or orange minus marks, I guess, are traits that were lost. And they can't read those because these two have the reading comprehension of a Hovend, I suppose. Because when they heard gained post-anal tail, they decided that was when animals gained an anus for the first time. Which is just not true. That's not how that works. And it led us into a wonderful discussion about which animals do and don't have anuses, and the fact that some lineages have lost their anus as evolution has proceeded. Sometimes you don't even need an anus. So there you go. Yeah.
Sometimes.
no context theater.
I feel.
I think it is funny. Rain of Est in the chat was like Kip trying to get people cursed for 1,000 years right now. Like
Yeah.
stealing grave offerings from the dead.
There are a lot of times I feel like I don't need my. I mean, I feel like I don't need my anus every second of every day.
Yeah, but generally speaking, over the course of, say, a week, you're going to need that.
Oh, no question. But, like, in this particular moment,
right,
it feels like it's not doing much.
But what I'm saying is, like, there are organisms that just never have an anus.
True. Yes.
And
I
you would be
was
in
made
trouble
aware of that.
if you
thanks
were in that
to
situation.
You.
Yeah.
And I think it's great.
For them, maybe. I don't think you could do that very well.
Correct.
Yeah.
No.
Goop23 for $5 says, they have the reading comprehension of AI bros. Yeah, there is that, right?
Yeah.
I guess it is the case that, like, if you were going to be someone who was going to fall for AI slop nonsense, it would be helpful if you just couldn't read it in the first place. Because then how would you tell it it's slop nonsense? You can't read. All right, here we go.
Dapper, I will say this, though, because it keeps coming up in chat. One of my favorite random clips on the internet is this guy driving through LA, and he pulls up to an intersection, and he looks over, and he's like, is that David Lynch? And David's sitting there on, like, one of those, like, folding, director's chairs. And he's got a giant billboard that's like, Laura Dern for this award. And he just has a black and white dairy cow sitting next to him, and he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette.
Nice.
It's just, there he is. There's David Lynch with a cow.
Advertising for Laura Dern.
Billboard for Laura Dern. Like, yep, that's how that is.
All right, so for $2, Ben Thick Tunicate says, and in the case of Hovend, you are the anus. Yeah, Kent is a bit of an
nice.
anus. Huh?
I like it.
Oh, it's from Oscar. Thank you, Jillian Run. It's just the video he happened to be recording. He just, is that David Lynch with a cow?
There is.
Yeah, that's exactly how that's supposed to go.
All right, here we go.
Man, we were missing out on a lot. And then after that, we become some rat thing, and that thing.
So Cyognathus, by the way, is a fairly important animal, because this is an animal that is actually showing the real development of the mammalian jaw. So mammals have a jaw joint between the dentary bone in the lower jaw and the squamosal bone in the cranium, right? But that's unusual. The default for tetrapods is that there's a joint between a bone called the articular bone and the why can't I remember the one in the cranium? I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'll look it up later. But it's a different bone in the cranium. And that right there, so in the primitive condition, what happens is the muscle goes from the cranium to the top of the jaw, and then that is the muscle that closes the jaw, and then that little articular bone interfaces with a little notch on the cranium, and that's how the jaw works. Later on, a lot of diapsids get the same bone arrangement for their jaw joint, but the muscles go towards the inside of the jaw. Which is why if you ever see anyone reconstructing dinosaurs with like big jaw muscle cheeks that show up like it's a mammal, that's wrong. There should be no visible flexing of muscles from the outside around like the bottom of the jaws, like there would be in a mammal. But on the synapsid side, on mammals, the muscles go to the outside of the jaw, and also the bones other than the dentary. So we've got why am I blanking on skull bones today? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Those become inner ear bones, which is why you have 3 inner ear bones instead of 1. And Cyanognathes is a gigantically important transitional fossil in this right here, and you can watch through both the actual development in embryo of mammals today. You can watch those bones start to form in the jaw and then migrate into the inner ear. And you can also see it in the form of adult mammals going through this selection of these 3 up top here, and like obviously lots of other organisms that we have, because this is only a tiny sample of the transitional forms. So whatever else they're going to say about Cyanognathes, which they're just going to say, oh, it's a rat, because apparently these guys are such idiots that they think that calling something a rat is in some way evidence against evolution. But like, this is a really big deal. And in fact, things like Cyanognathes and Probanognathus were huge in terms of looking for transitional forms between primitive amniotes, what we used to call reptile-like mammals, and true mammals. They fit perfectly into a predicted slot in terms of what transitional morphology should have had to occur in order for mammals to evolve from these synapsids. And lo and behold, we found the exact thing that we thought we would.
It does do something. It says warm blood.
It looks like
I actually find it very unlikely that was the first warm-blooded synapsid. There is not a lot of great evidence in terms of like, whether or not various synapsid groups were endotherms or exotherms or mesotherms or whatever. But I would disagree that there's a good place to stick the warm-blooded label there. So,
rat cross with a mongoose or something.
So
what in that indicates mongoose to you? Shelly, I don't think you're seeing any mongoose in there. Do you think they just don't know what a mongoose looks like? Because I think that might actually be it.
Yeah, they just wanted to say mongoose because, haha, if it sounds stupid, it can't be true.
I mean, I actually think mongoose is a fun word, but I don't know.
I like that word.
They just think saying something looks like a mongoose means it's too stupid to be true.
Yeah. And also, what would they, like, okay, a rat, if you ignore the fact that its tail has those weird scales, is basically about as primitive looking a mammal as you could possibly get. Like, that's just the generic what a mammal looks like. So, of course, there should be some rat-looking things in the history of the evolution of mammals, because remember, we're still not at actual mammals yet. In fact, Juramaya, so Rapamammus is a mammal, so that's going to be our first actual mammal. Although it's a mammal of a group that doesn't exist anymore, but that's fine. But Juramaya is our first, I believe, therian. So, basically, our first mammal that's not laying eggs. So, like, yeah, we're pretty far away from like modern mammals here.
So we get warm blood, thicker skin, advancements to lungs. I'm sorry, I can't read that one.
Lymphatic
system and erecta hind limbs.
Hind limbs, everybody. Gotta get those erect hind limbs.
Hind limbs, not hind limbs.
No, guys.
Hind limbs.
I feel like I'm sorry,
it.
I can't read that one. Is the perfect summary of
it really
this
is.
video.
And hey, you know what? I know a lot of adults don't really read above a 6th grade level in my country, which is fine if you're like, hey, I don't know what this word is, and someone else jumps in and says, oh, it's this. Cool, great.
Yeah.
But hind limbs.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, it's less great if you're going to say that you are going to be the one who's going to use text-based sources to overturn the overwhelming consensus that has been the consensus for about 150 years in a field of science about which you know nothing. At that point, the fact that you can't read becomes a problem, right? Because look, there's a lot of reasons people might not be able to read. Maybe their schools were absolute shit. That happens a lot in the United States. I get it. That's not your fault. You didn't choose to go to that school, most likely. Some people have disabilities, right? Maybe you're dyslexic, or maybe you have some other learning disability. That's fine. All those things are fine. But what it means is, if you decide that you're going to be the one who goes live to talk about biology, you have a lot of homework to do before you can get to that point. And if you don't, well, I'm going to make fun of you for it. Because the fact is, even people who can read at a very high level still have a lot of homework to do before they can do this. I'm guessing that Kip can read at least a 9th grade level.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
All right. I don't think Kip could critique this picture effectively on his own, or with another person like maybe Josh Bowen.
I actually think I would struggle less at interpreting this picture than my good friend Josh Bowen.
Because you hang out with me so much.
Some
of the biology
that
is rubbing off.
exactly right. He just oh, I almost said it. He just doesn't care.
That's fair. But see, that's the thing.
At all.
If I were expect like Josh and Kip to go ahead and do a critique of a picture like this, I would expect them to both have to do a whole bunch of homework beforehand. Because my guess is,
that's true. Yes.
If I were like, hey Kip, what do you feel? How do you feel about the lymphatic system of in mammals?
I would be like, hey, I need to know what that is.
Exactly.
If I care enough to comment on it.
Mm-hmm. Metageeky Platypus Librarian.
Because I might just go, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Which is what these two should do. They should go, I don't know, and then just close this and then go look up some things.
Yes.
Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $2 says, I dubbed this creature Ricky Tiki Taliki. Oh no, we got another version of Tiktaalik. Oh man. I still do not understand how Andrew Snelling is as bad as he is at everything.
Hind limbs, yeah.
Hind limbs. And then we lose a bunch of things, too.
We lose a pineal gland, which is the...
I mean...
I might just be having one of those weeks. But for whatever reason, the guy that just now you cut off mid-sentence, I don't like his voice. It is giving like my misophonia a run for its money because he sounds like he's congested, like he has a cold, head cold. Is that just his normal voice?
I don't know because I have not encountered this guy outside of this video. It might he might just be ill today. Today, I mean, when he was recording this, like that's a thing. Maybe he is. Maybe he's just congested.
Some people have, unfortunately, very annoying voices.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this whole pineal gland thing? So the primitive condition for tetrapods is that there is actually a little opening at the top of the skull, and the pineal gland sits right near there. And it's an eye in the sense that it can sense light, but it's not an eye in the sense that it can form an image. Because what's usually over there is like a thin bit of skin or scale or something. And it's there to help regulate your circadian rhythm. In many diapsid or reptile lines, that similarly goes away. So, for instance, crocodilians and birds like archosaurs, they don't really have a big opening at the top of their skull so that you can see, so that the pineal gland gets access to light. But lepidosaurs do, so that includes lizards, right? So one of the ways you can tell a lizard skull from a dinosaur skull, if you ever are in a condition where you need to do that, is that a lizard skull will in fact have a little opening at the top of the skull where the pineal gland sits under, and then in life that is covered just by a largish scale. And so that is regulating, when should you be awake, when should you sleep, what time of day is it, stuff like that. And in mammals, that also goes away. So the pineal gland remains a gland that produces hormones, and if I remember correctly, it is still involved in circadian rhythms, but it does not get direct input from light. And so that is what's being lost here. Those guys don't know that, so it's not like they're going to explain it to you. So I figured I might as well. Because, yeah. Also,
well, thank you.
From Beyond. That's a fun story right there.
Are you going to read the membership chat from Katie Lewis?
Oh,
She's feeling a little...
I forgot that it was there. I'm sorry.
Sad about that.
I'm sorry, Katie Lewis. Katie Lewis, who's been for 22 months, is at the annual level, says young Earth creationists are dumb. The really interesting debate is over at what point on did our... I'm going to ignore on. At what point did our lineage develop souls? What species were Adam and Eve? I want to know. So I know that at least some Christians who are not young Earth creationists, who are various kinds of theistic evolutionists, have said that Adam and Eve were the first of any lineage to have souls. And as to what species, I've heard people say that they were Homo sapiens. I've heard people say that they were Homo ergaster. Heard people say Homo erectus. I've also heard theistic evolutionists say that they don't know, and also they don't think that there were a historical Adam and Eve of any species. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've heard multiple different things. The thing for me is that, like, for me, that's a debate that I don't really care about. But I can see why different groups of theistic evolutionists would want to have that debate. And I know that one whose work I have followed somewhat, Joshua Samadas, goes with, I think, like Homo ergaster, and there were a historical or Adam and Eve that were around a few 100,000 years ago, like before the Neanderthal Homo sapiens split, I think, is his position. I know that Reasons to Believe, which is not theistic evolutionists, but they're old Earth creationists, say that there were a series of bipedal apes that were like helping prepare the wildlife, I guess, somehow for the existence of humans, and as in Homo sapiens, and that Homo sapiens were a special creation, with Adam and Eve actually being the first Homo sapiens. Whereas Neanderthals are an unrelated but mysteriously similar species. And in fact, all the way to Fuzz Rana saying that he did think that Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalensis hybrids had souls, but that they were the result of bestiality, which is... I get why he would say that.
Wow.
But, like, it sounds weird to say, like, oh yeah, mating with a Neanderthal counts as bestiality. And I'm like, that's weird, my dude.
Okay.
That's weird.
Wow.
That's leading almost straight into like race realism and
It
racism.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
well,
feels
at the
like
very
it.
least, the biological
Yeah.
distinction between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens is actually real, unlike the biological distinction between so-called human races. So, in terms of race realism, it's technically true that those are separate groups in terms of biology. So, like, there would be something to that. I'm sure that they did have differences in cognitive capacities, behaviors, things like that. So, like, I guess, hey, race realists, if you actually want to find differences between groups of humans that are biologically based instead of just, your own nonsense, look into various species within the Homo genus, because that's where there are, in fact, biological distinctions. Instead of just making up ones that aren't actually in the data between different Homo sapiens groups. Metageeky Platypus
By the
Librarian...
way...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah, before you move on, so Katie is also a member at my channel, and she has started her own channel called Nerd Church that goes every Sunday at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, I think is the correct time. I actually have a link. I'll just drop it in the chat. But she has 2 subscribers, so people should go and subscribe to Katie. Every week they read passages following the Catholic lectionary, and talk about it, which is fun. I watched it last weekend. I was unable to participate, but I'm probably going to hop on tomorrow. Nice. So so long as the invitation is open, or maybe yeah. So yeah, people go check it out.
Awesome. Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $5 says, so how many years ago did Dr. Pretorius activate the resonator to activate this critter's pineal gland? Speaking of protuberances, AIG's well, first of all,
Dapper and I just watched From Beyond this week.
And weirdly, it was your first time watching it, which I thought that you had already watched it.
There are some movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, but that seems like one that you would have seen, right? Like, if you told me, like, oh, I never saw, and then you name some, like, random 50s sci-fi movie, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But, like, From Beyond...
But also, keep in mind that some of these movies haven't really been widely available on streaming platforms, and when Netflix first started, we didn't watch it on Netflix, but when Netflix first started, the physical discs that it had in its library, it was like the entire Charlie Chaplin library, all these really super old, rare Hollywood films, things people really hadn't seen. They didn't make original films or TV shows or documentaries, really. So that was the place to go if you wanted rare media. And now it's like, well, if Shudder doesn't get it, sucks.
It
Wow.
is a fun movie. It is on the gory and gross side, so if you're squeamish, I might not recommend it. But yeah, From Beyond is a fun movie. And of course, it has the best Star Trek actor of all time, maybe with the exception of Leonard Nimoy. So,
Who is that?
Jeffrey Combs.
come on, Kip. Kip's going to say,
God,
who did
now
Jeffrey
I'm
Combs
going to-
play?
now-
Yeah, mhm.
He's gonna go,
I-
who's Jeffrey Combs?
God, like, what if I do say that?
Kip, do you remember the character Shran?
I don't think he's watched
Is that in the
Enterprise.
original
No.
series?
Do you remember the
or
character
is that
Wei Yun? Or any of the characters
I
named
don't
Uh,
think
Wei
he's watched
Yun?
Deep
from
Space
where?
Nine
So
very
my,
much
I
or
listen.
Oh my
I
God, Kip.
loved TNG. I watched portions of the original series and all the movies, and I watched first 2 seasons of Voyager, the first 2 episodes of Enterprise, and then it kind of fell off. So unless, I did watch Deep Space Nine for a while too. But
Do you remember Brunt
from
the FCA?
No, it so
Remember that weird
no.
guy who wanted
what-
a naked hologram of Commander Nerys?
so that's
Kira
in
Nerys?
Voyager?
No, in Deep Space
I think
Nine.
I missed that one. Oh, in Deep Space Nine. I must have missed that
He's-
one.
He's not
No.
up on any of this.
I'm not sorry.
He also played
Have you ever seen that movie Reanimator?
I bet if I saw him, I'd recognize him.
Hey Kip, have you seen that movie
Yeah.
Reanimator?
Maybe I don't remember. So
Jeez.
Okay.
I'm 52 years old. I think.
Yeah, that's the age to
I-
watch Reanimator.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
you're like a
forget
perfect age to have seen
so much
Reanimator.
Shit, though. You have no idea how much when I say that I have forgotten more about the Bible than most people will ever know, I mean it. The shit that I forget every goddamn day is
Unbelievable.
so I don't know. Maybe I did. It's really depressing
it
because
has some
I
pretty
actually had to
memorable
watch
scenes,
before.
So
No. I listen. I have to say, it's really depressing because I started watching season 2 of Fallout this last week, which is Dagon's favorite show by a country mile. But I had to watch 2 12-minute recaps because I could not remember
that doesn't
anything
have,
that
that's
happened.
not a reflection on you. That's the fact that these shows are taking a year or more in between seasons. So that's not.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was much better at this once upon a time.
Also, to be fair, Fallout does not have a zombie head that then performs various sex acts on a person, unlike Reanimator.
Yeah,
making it pretty memorable in that's a thing that happens.
So, but all that to say, no, I don't remember who Jeffrey Combs is, and stop making fun of me.
Combs, come on.
Combs. Oh, you have no idea how much I want to say the F word right now.
Well, we only need, what is it, 17 more. So, Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, I'm confident these guys have much larger...
Googling it.
Thank you. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator
Do you know that when you type in Jeffrey...
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator says, I'm confident these guys have larger holes in their crania than lizards. Templar Wharton for $2 New Zealand says, are you telling me shrimp carried this cross? Yes. Yes, I am. I am telling you that. Let's see. Then, Tad is Matt for $5 says, are hind limbs where you put weapons on a Soviet attack helicopter? Anyway, I still have more characters, and then sends 3 trans pride flags, there we go, and 3 general pride flags. So thank you very much. Then Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $2 says, Brunt, FCA. One of my favorite of the Jeffrey Combs characters is, of course, Inspector Brunt of the FCA. And then Petite Flower for $5 says, Brent Spiner or GTFO.
He played everyone.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs plays a lot. That's not even all of his characters.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs has played probably more characters on Star Trek than anyone.
Yep. He also played Agamus, the
That's
evil
awesome.
computer in Star Trek Lower Decks. In more than one episode. Cool. I think he was in 3 episodes. All right, here we go.
Of Lower Decks?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I did watch some of that too. It's really good. Where can I find that?
Paramount
rest of
Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Oh God.
It's the only reason to
know.
get Paramount Plus is Star Trek, as far as I can tell.
Right. Yeah.
Yo ho, me mateys.
Yeah, unless you do that. But I would say like if you don't want to pirate it, it is nice that it has essentially everything of Star Trek, including their horrible crappy stuff that I don't ever want to watch.
By the way, I mentioned that I was the last time I mentioned I was in this class action lawsuit against the decision against LibGen. It turns out that that Anna's archive is also part of that, because now everything has just been shut down, which is sad.
Rip.
Yeah.
Third Eye, and Lumber Ribs. So we lose.
Lumbar,
Lumber.
not
Did
lumber.
he just say
Ribs.
lumber ribs?
Yep, we're taking a drink for lumber ribs. Wow.
a pineal gland, but we
Is
get it
he,
back somehow.
He's like channeling Job's vision of the
Bone apple
Yeah.
tea.
the behemoth.
So
yeah.
this whole thing where we lose the pineal gland, but then we get it back here is so part of it is their lack of reading comprehension, but part of it I do think is that this is not a super well phrased thing, because it says pineal gland, third eye, and lumbar ribs, right? But like this is one of those reasons why you should use Oxford commas. Because usually the Oxford comma,
Yes.
not using it means that you're going to confuse the last two entries as being one. But here, there just isn't a comma anywhere in here. And so if you don't know what this thing is talking about already, you're going to be confused, because pineal gland, third eye is one whole entry. Put a comma after it, then say, and lumbar ribs, because otherwise it's not clear. Does that mean you're just not using commas at all because you're dumb? And it's pineal gland, comma, third eye, comma, lumbar ribs, which is not what it is, but that's what they're taking it as. And I see why they're doing that. And that's on the designer for the poster. So, guys, more commas, use the Oxford comma. Roshna for $4.99 says, for the man with the great hair that has written no books, and then there is a link to a video.
What?
I don't know what it is, so you'll have to click on that sometime.
Thank you, because when you said it, I didn't see it. I heard gray hair, and I'm like,
Oh, no,
fuck the
great.
hell, no,
Great
not a single one, actually. So,
Are you sure about that?
well, in the beard, there's a few, but
I was gonna say, are you sure
no.
about that?
100% sure, Vish.
Because humans
Not a
have a
one.
pineal gland in the middle of their brain. So
They do, and that is because the creators of this poster have written this ambiguously, and I'm not going to knock this guy for it. Although I will also say, if you don't know what the pineal gland third eye is, maybe you're not ready to critique the morphological evolution of humans. I don't know. There is that. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, hominids came from the trees, so they have lumbar lordosis. Get out of here.
Well,
Get out of here with that lumbar lordosis. Aww. So punny.
I like it.
And we
Like-
had a third eye.
yeah, that's the pineal gland. The third eye is the nickname for it.
Wait,
So
what?
I would-
So now they're getting even more confused because they don't know anything about what's going on. What was that? Kit?
What is the third eye?
It's
are you
woo
talking
nonsense.
scientifically, or are you talking about woo-woo mystic bullshit?
Yeah. The third eye is some woo-woo stuff that people think that the
No, I know what the but what are they talking? What the hell are they talking about?
they're
See how good
talking
I'm being.
about the
I'm being
connection
so
between the pineal gland and woo-woo third eye nonsense. Because you got to decalcify your
What-
pineal gland
what-
so you can see into the higher vibrations, Kit.
No, you got to decalcify it, or at least not calcify it at all because you developed cancer, and then you can time travel when you get high enough.
Yeah, there's that too. And you can see
Saw the
the
documentary.
extra dimensional angels that are coming to tell you how to live your life, and it mostly comes down to like, well, maybe you should be nice to people and think positive thoughts. Okay, thanks, angels. Good job.
I would really like to know how we regain our third eye.
And we didn't, because that third eye is just a nickname for the pineal gland, which is no longer an eye. What was lost is its actual ability to sense light from outside the cranium. But of course, again, not a well-designed poster, in my opinion. I have a lot of bones to pick with this thing.
If we apparently lose it.
It's like TN from Dragon Ball Z, man.
I don't get that one. I bet other people do. Most of my audience does. It looks like Vish does.
I think Tad makes a good point.
What's that?
It's in the super chat, and I'm being very, very reserved and respectful here. But he does point out that it's not like you're paying me to be here. So
Wait, I don't see the super chat.
it's not a super chat. It's in the chat.
Oh, it's true.
So,
yeah. You don't have to be here. You can just not show up.
And I could just just do whatever the hell I want to.
Mm-hmm. And yet when I call you,
before you press the mute button, because you do have a tendency to do that.
I did do it once earlier because I had been interrupted by you for the 4th time trying to read out one super chat, so I just muted you.
Oh, really? Nobody heard that?
No.
Oh, that's rude.
No.
God.
Because it was the 4th time in a row, and I was like, all right, I have to get these read because people paid me. Kip isn't paying me. So there, if you want to make sure that your words get out, Kip, you got a super chat. That's the deal.
Which is this is something I don't do. So
which is also fine. No one has to.
No.
All right, we're gonna get a little bit more of this in here, and we're gonna take a break in a little bit.
Oh, that's so weird, man. It's so funny that every one of these things they're trying to say humans like me and you right now, we and everybody watching, guys, according to them, we were one of these creatures.
No, that's not how what they're saying, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't think that's what they're saying.
These creatures, or ones like it, to be more specific, are part of your ancestry, which is not the same thing as you being one of those things. You are not your ancestors. I mean, let me double check. I'm not my dad or my mom or any of my grandparents. Are you, Vish?
No.
Are you, Kip?
No, I was going to say, as far as I'm aware, I've only ever just been me.
Okay.
Just
so
that.
We're not doing the Futurama time travel where Fry became his own grandfather? As he said, he did do the nasty in the pasty.
Yeah.
With his grandmother, so okay.
All of us.
No, this is not.
Let's see. Tad is mad for $5 says, this is a shrew eraser and I hate it. It is shrew eraser. You know what? Here's the thing. They don't know what shrews are. Because
you know what? That would actually be a really good tongue twister, like vocal warm up.
What would?
Shrew erasure.
Shrew erasure? Yeah, okay.
Shrew erasure.
Gonna say it like 5 times fast?
Yeah, that would actually. I'm gonna put that on a list.
Nice.
We were all one of these things.
Shrew erasure.
Like that. That's pretty outrageous, if you ask me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is outrageous.
That's why no one is ever saying that.
God.
Evolution in real life isn't like evolution in Pokemon, where one individual goes through several different evolutionary stages. We're not talking about...
That's what they think it is.
Yeah.
They think it's like Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Like your Charmander literally ends up turning into a Charizard at some point.
Nope. Not how it works. Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $10 says, the pineal gland is one of the few not symmetrical brain parts, at least to early anatomists. That oddity led people to associate it with the soul. Descartes and Blavatsky encouraged that argument. That does sound like something
Blavatsky encouraged it.
Of course, everything that Blavatsky said, the God's honest truth.
She was so awful.
That name sounds familiar. Why do I know that name?
She started Theosophy, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's it.
She's one of the forerunners of the pseudo history, mystic white supremacy BS.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of, rest in piss, Eric Von Daniken.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
Yeah. Who, by the way, didn't know any Sumerian. In case anyone's wondering.
No. Really?
You're thinking of
Wow.
Zachary Sitchin.
I'm thinking of both of them.
He also didn't.
Oh yeah, well
know
he also
any
didn't
Sumerian.
know Sumerian.
They both claim to have found things, similar things, in like the Sumerian epics and texts, and like, no, you didn't. And like
You didn't.
the way that you can tell is that you can just ask people who know Sumerian, and also like the entire corpus of Sumerian is online. Like the whole thing's been digitized. 'Cause,
Yeah.
quite frankly, there's not that much. It's not that big of a corpus. It's bigger than Gothic, as far as I know, but it's not huge. So like, yeah.
Dapper once again proving he's not a linguist.
Because I know roughly how big the corpus of Sumerian is. Is it because I know the word corpus in this context? Is that it?
No.
Is it because I know about Gothic? What is it? What makes it linguisty?
I will not explain further.
Okay. All right, we got a few super chats and a membership chat, and then we're going to take a quick
Go on
break.
and read go on and get your shine box. Read your super chats.
All right. Steeloof, who's been a member for 35 months at the Tetrapod level, says, Fry done beat Lister in his being his own dad with a Mothra. We'll take a drink. Thank you. Let's see. Tad is mad for $5 says, if Trubbish exists, then Young Earth creation is real. I don't know if I know what
Trubbish?
Trubbish? I am not sure I follow on that one. Oh! Although, speaking of the whole linguist thing, so, I did recently see an email that Will Duffy had sent Erica, indicating that Will Duffy was in fact interested in having a talk about the history of language and whether or not Hebrew is the oldest language. So, Kip, I might have to ask you to be on deck.
Really?
Oh my god.
I'm excited.
Mhm.
Very excited.
Yep.
Yes.
So I also did ask her to have him send me what his sources on Hebrew being the oldest language are, because he said something about like some guy, and he seemed to have a particular source in mind. And I would like to be able to access that and see what the arguments are, because I mean, we know for a fact that Hebrew is
verifiably not
the oldest language.
The oldest language.
We know of languages that existed.
Not a question.
While there are languages that we know of that we can
not
read
even.
that were written down before Hebrew diverged from other Northwest Semitic languages.
So much
Over
earlier.
1,000 years beforehand.
Right. So like picking Hebrew as the oldest language it's about as silly as saying English is the oldest language, because I mean English is like 800 years old. It's just not. I'm sorry. At least pick something that does not have obvious
Perhaps
ancestors.
not as silly as saying
if
that.
If you wanted to roll with like one of the Indian subcontinent languages, I'd be like, okay, you might be cooking with that. If you wanted to roll with something from like Far East Asia, maybe
you're gonna have to pick a language isolate.
Yeah,
that's the only option.
I was okay, but
you're gonna
again,
have to,
even
Basque.
You would need to go. I would require at least cultures that go back really effing far.
Well, then you're going to get the argument from the people who are like, my language is the oldest, that like, well, my culture does go back that far, just not in, written form. Like, okay, I guess that's technically true.
Okay, sure. Whatever.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $2 says, Faming of the shrew is apparently necessary. Oh, like making the shrew famous? Yeah, I feel like people just don't know what shrews are anymore, and part of that is like, okay, you're never going to see a shrew most likely unless you're like working on a farm or something, because they're so tiny and like they like to live in burrows and they don't come up very often, and like unless they're a pest that you actively have to worry about, which they are for some farmers. But when are you ever going to encounter a shrew in your daily life? Chad is mad for $2 says the oldest language is pre-Yiddish, which of course is absolutely correct. That is true.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Metageeky follows up with, but what of linear D variant of pre-Yiddish runes from the Indus River Valley of Easter Island, Rongo Rongo?
Oh, you know what? That is a compelling case right there. That definitely wasn't just a word salad. But it was a wonderful word salad based on linguistic mysteries, which I do appreciate.
Linear D.
Yeah.
Kip, does Kip know about Rongo Rongo?
I don't know about that.
Oh, that is
very cool.
Rongo Rongo is the script from Easter Island that no one can interpret anymore, and it's also not clear if it's writing or proto-writing or what. But there are very few examples of it because it was primarily written on perishable items like bits of wood or leaves.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, so it's that's why when I say like how many times did humans ever invent language, I have to be like, and maybe Easter Island, it's not clear.
Yeah, and also this is just a personal preference. I try to refer to it as Rapa Nui and not Easter Island, but that's just me.
Yeah,
As long as
unfortunately,
people know that you're talking about the place where the Moai heads are.
that's the problem, is that a lot of people don't know the word Rapa Nui. So it's like I
It's
would
true.
I would
I
like
know.
to use the local term, but most people know Easter Island. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll enjoy some musical stylings from Benthoven, and then we will be back in just a little bit. Get some fresh drinks, get some fresh snacks if you want. Use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. Tad is mad for $2 says the newest language is Ultra French. Oh, wow, we're just going all in on all the worst memes of
God.
linguistics.
Ultra French.
Oh my goodness.
That and Santa.
Yeah,
Ugh.
look, Seraphim might be more cursed, but it's not nearly as horrifying as Santa or Ultra French. So we'll be back in
Correct.
just a little bit. We are. Oh wait, no. We're back now. I'll take a drink for Dapper's a professional. I'm sucking at this, but yeah, we're back now. So sorry about that. But yeah, now that we're back from break, I want to say real quick, thank you so much for everyone who has joined the Patreon, who's become a channel member, who has super chatted, sent super stickers, gifted memberships. All of those things are how the channel stays afloat. It is no secret that this channel depends almost entirely for its existence on people who watch the channel choosing to support it which no one has to. So it is amazing to me that you guys are so generous. If you are someone who would like to support the channel or increase your support, there are some great ways. Patreon is probably the best one in terms of like how much the channel benefits versus how much you give, because it's where I get to keep the most of the money that comes in. That starts at $1 a month. There's a 50% discount if you go annually. It can go all the way up to $100 a month if you want to be super generous, although I would suggest maybe not doing that, since I don't think that the perks that I have of that high are actually worth it. But hey, what do I know? But there's also the channel memberships. There's a join button right below this. It starts at $1.99. Both of those give you early access to scripted videos. I'm hoping to get one out on like Tuesday. I was hoping to get it out like yesterday, but that didn't happen. Let's see. You also get access to my Discord server that's just for supporters, which I think is a really fun place. Yeah, there's a lot of ways for you to help out the channel if you want to. That being said, there's also a wish list. Also, Kip and Vishanti are linked in the description, and if they're not, yell at me. And they also have Patreons, and Vishanti also has a wish list. And yeah, there we go. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator has just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 drinks while I let this play, and we're going to let it play for at least how long it takes me to drink 5 drinks, and then we're going to talk about whatever nonsense it is. So there we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so from there we turn into a Repenomoramus. It kind of looks like a weird-looking raccoon, polar bear, mongoose thing.
Wow.
This thing.
Hey, it's
He's
Repenomamus.
super cute.
It's Repenomamus. Now I just took the drink. How many R's are there in Repenomamus? It's 1, guys.
1.
1. So adding an
1.
extra 1 is just obviously wrong. So why would you do it? Repenomamus is so one thing is they're like, look, sweat glands and things like that. And this is where I really take issue with this chart. There's no way to know that Repenomamus was the first mammal to have sweat glands. It probably wasn't. And sweat glands, as you may or may not know, don't preserve well in fossils. So we really don't have a great idea as to when sweat glands evolved. So I really don't like them putting things in places where it's like, okay, it's not completely absurd that this could be where this evolutionary novelty took place, but we don't actually know. So please stop. Please just don't do that. All it does is give fodder to people like this when you do things like that. But Repenomamus is interesting in that it is a very large Cretaceous mammal. It is probably, it's certainly more an actual mammal, right? So it's one of our earlier mammals. It's also one of our early largest mammals because it's about the size of a small dog, which is really big for a Cretaceous mammal. It was big enough to prey on some of the smaller dinosaurs. So yeah. Tad is back for $5 says, I don't support this channel. I just keep tripping over the button. Thank you. Trip harder, Tad. Keep tripping. So yeah, there are a lot of things with this chart that I really don't like. And so on the one hand, I feel like, yeah, I could get together with a creationist and critique parts of this chart that just don't work. But then, of course, I also realize that these creationists are coming at this both in ignorance and in bad faith. So, like, yeah.
This is where we get our milk glands from. So when we were this, we evolved to have milk glands, sweat glands, hairy skin, eternal.
Actually, we know that hairy skin occurs a lot earlier, so we know that's actually in the Permian because while we don't know which group of animals in the Permian had hair, we know that hair existed because we have coprolites from the Permian that have hair in them. And what a coprolite is it's fossilized dung. So if something was pooping out hair, that hair had to enter its mouth at some point, And I don't know how that would happen unless it ate something hairy. Unless it was just growing hair in its intestines, pooping it out.
And it's,
which seems unlikely.
I have a question about this cute little guy.
Repenomemus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this just the stuff on his back? Is that just an artist's rendition, or did he have like little spiny things?
So that is supposed to be spots on the fur, and that is just an artist rendition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see.
So that's just hair color, and as far as I know, we have no data about the hair color of Repenomemus.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, all the color on this for every single organism is just the artist's impression. We do have fossil organisms for whom we have color data. So, like, we have some color data for Archaeopteryx. We know that it was mostly black with iridescent sheen, kind of like a crow or a raven. So if you looked at the feathers at a glancing angle, they would have been greenish blue. But dead on, they would have looked black. We know that we have Stegosaurus. We know it was a darker brown on top and a lighter cream color on its belly and under its throat, and it had little dark blackish spots or very dark brown spots. So there's a few organisms where we have really good data because we've been able to recover melanosomes. And melanosomes are little extracellular bits that melanocytes produce and then shoot out into the intracellular matrix, and it's what is the primary coloring agent of animals in general, right? So there's two kinds. There's eumelanin and then there's pheomelanin, and pheomelanin makes a rufous color, so like the color of a robin, the reddish color of the robin. That's from pheomelanin. Whereas the brown color of people's hair, that's eumelanin. And in fact, even people with blonde hair, what's actually happening is they just make less eumelanin. And then red hair is when you're making pheomelanin instead of eumelanin for your hair. So it's also eumelanin is the main pigment in human skin color. And so the difference between different human skin colors is primarily how much melanin you make. And so the more melanin you make, the darker your skin is. It is a very tough molecule. That's why a lot of birds have black tips on their wings, because that's where their feathers get the most wear, and the melanin actually strengthens that feather so it wears down less. But up closer to the the root of the feather, they can have other colors because it will be less worn. So they'll have more diversity of colors there. It's a thing that happens in a lot of birds. And yeah, we actually have used scanning electron microscopes to get a good look at what kinds of melanin and how much melanin are on different ancient animals. But obviously, it's only for a handful, and we don't have it for Repenomemus as far as I've heard. I've never seen anything to indicate that we do.
Right.
But it is cool because I remember in the 90s reading books about like dinosaurs and things and saying, we'll never actually know what color any dinosaur was from the ancient past. And it's like, nope.
Right.
Turns out, yes, we do.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. There are some where like you can say, oh, you got the color wrong right there.
Yeah. By the way, my one and only adorable grandbaby might have red hair. It's sometimes it looks pretty red. So
my hair was like a darkish auburn when I was a kid, because my dad's a ginger. My mom's hair is literally like jet black. But my dad being a ginger, he's like freckle strawberry blonde hair, hazel eyes. That's part of why I came out with like, well, you can't see because the light's shitty, but very like mousy light brown hair, and I'm really fair skin compared to my brother. So it might start out reddish and get darker, was what we're trying to go with that.
Yeah, getting darker hair as you age is pretty common. My sister had
that's normal.
My sister looked like she had like bleach blonde hair when she was a very small child, like she was a toddler, and that is not the case anymore. Although
it's like
last time I saw her hair was pretty light, but I'm pretty sure that's from hair dye. So
why did I say light brown? Because like that's how my hair looked when I was a kid. My hair is very dark brown now, but whatever.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says a coprolite is what happens when a young Earth creationist argument gets too old. Yes. Let's see. Petite Flower says AIG is a bag of coprolites. You know what? I'll take a drink for that. That's fine. Technically, it doesn't match, but I'll take a drink for it anyway. Ted is bad for $5 says I spell so many things in the British way. I guess that explains why my skin is clear. The U's are being used somewhere else. From all the UVs, yeah.
Amazing.
Let's see. Landon Knoll for $1.99 says AIG is a
Landon.
bag of masked ICE agents. Yeah, we'll take a drink. Literally, they're not. So thank goodness for that. But hey guys, did you know that the URL Nazis.us redirects to the ICE homepage?
Is that really where? Wow,
They have
that's
been
where it
using
goes.
Nazi
I
slogans
didn't type it
in their
into my
recruitment
browser.
ads.
You should
Wow.
you should type it in and just nazis.us, and it will direct you to the
I'm not doing
homepage
that.
of ICE.
Oh, did you see? I was watching.
Hey, if they want to use slogans from the regime,
Yeah, I mean they've been putting it on
Why not?
posters and in front of podiums and whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like, could you guys please stop calling Nazis? You're literally putting Nazi slogans on your
you're
on your
literally
gear.
using actual historical Nazi slogans.
Yeah.
This is not hyperbole.
Yeah,
Like,
I was watching some more news this week, and they talked about how a journalist went to a recruitment event for ICE.
oh, it's the DHS
just
website.
checking things
sorry,
out.
not ICE. My bad.
Oh, okay, all right. So just went to a recruitment event for ICE, and then they sent like an email offer, like to an offer to her, inviting her to do like a criminal background check, and she ignored it, and then like a week or two later got an offer from them
Oh,
and a
geez.
congratulations for passing the criminal background check that she definitely did not
Of course.
do, right?
Of course.
Well, it's actually been coming out that
Yeah.
background checks have been coming back after people have gone through training and actually started acting as ICE agents, and then some of them have
Mhm.
had to be pulled out because they then later failed. Because right now, it might not surprise you that not that many people actually want to join the most hated organization in the United States. And so they're just opening the doors to anyone, and they're taking as many bodies as they can. And then they're saying, well, I guess if we have to drum people out, we'll drum them out later. But now there's just an increasing backlog of background checks and physical assessments. And they also cut, I think it was sit-ups out of the requirements because not enough people could do the required number of sit-ups. So they're just like, all right, you just don't need to do sit-ups anymore. Just don't worry about it.
Lard ass enforcement.
Look, I would rather have a bunch of unfit, incapable ICE officers than a bunch of highly trained ICE officers doing Nazi shit.
It just makes me laugh because their whole thing is like, we're macho men, uber Chad, patriot soldiers in the front, and they're just out here slipping on ice puddles and not being able to do sit-ups. I think that's funny.
Pat is mad for $2 says, Arbeit macht frei. DHS.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually used that one, but they did use what was it? One of ours, all of yours.
Feels like it's coming.
Yeah,
though.
they did, but also
No.
several years ago there was I don't remember if it was it's like a senator. It's not coming to my mind, but he actually paraphrased like this slogan. So
Yeah.
I'll have to go pull up that news.
Not great.
Post
Not great. Also, I found out that the Nazi Party, in addition to all the other things they did, also ruined Rudyard Kipling's trademark. Because Rudyard Kipling, being born in India and having grown up in India, he had the knot on its side, or well, on its corner swastika in his trademark, along with an elephant and a lotus, because those were all personally important symbols for him. And then, of course, the 1930s come around, and he's like, God damn it.
Damn.
So he refiled a new trademark without the swastika, and he actually, on the physical like stamp that he used to use for the books, you can see it was actually scraped out. They didn't create a new stamp; they just scraped the swastika out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
God.
because that used to be a very respectable symbol, and then they ruined it. Like they ruined everything else.
Yeah.
And now, to this day,
original ideas.
and
All
to
they
this
can do
day
is
now,
rip off and make stuff crappier.
in the Western world, in like Indian diaspora communities, every once in a while, various holiday decorations will be desecrated because they're, people are idiots. They don't realize that Hindu temple is not celebrating the Nazis when they put that swastika out in that flower arrangement for Diwali. So, yeah, thanks. Which also, hey guys, Maybe learn a little bit about religious symbolism before you go out and decide to just mess up that Hindu temple's display. I don't know. Just a thought.
If it's laying flat, you're okay. If it's standing on a point,
Yeah, that's the bad one. Yeah, don't do that. Also, to this day, on the side swastika is usually how on maps Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples are depicted on maps in Japan. So, yeah. So that's not where you go to find the Nazis. That's where you go to find, like, shrine.
Internal penises. Some of us still have an internal penis.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow,
that's an admission.
It was literally just a small dick joke directed at himself, which, like, I mean, that's a choice, man. Go for it. I mean, whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to shame your innie of a penis there, Nick. That's, you know what? Although I will say, maybe you don't have to tell everyone about your negative length penis. I don't know. But it's a choice.
Specialized teeth. 4 chambered hearts.
Okay, I also don't like the specialized teeth, because specialized teeth actually go all the way back into, like, very early synapsids. Now, they weren't as specialized as we get in animals like Rhipinomammus, but, like, Cynognathus had different types of teeth. It had clearly distinguishable incisors, canines, and molars. So, yeah, I don't like this poster. I don't think it's a good representation. But, poor Vishanti, says Normandy Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes you get an innie instead of an outie. It's fine.
And constant body temperature and nocturnality. Oh, we've evolved to be nocturnal there. Okay.
We actually
Did he say nocturnality?
He did, yeah. But we do actually have some evidence of nocturnality evolving sort of like at the end of the Permian in mammal lineage. And part of that is things like, relative eye size and stuff like that. And also, one of the interesting things about mammals is that by default, mammals have dichromatic vision, whereas reptiles tend to have tetrachromatic vision. Trichromatic vision, like primates have, is pretty weird. And one of the leading hypotheses as to why tetrachromacy is so common in diapsids and reptiles, whereas dichromacy is so common in mammals, is that mammals actually lost color vision because they spent pretty much all of the Mesozoic being nocturnal in order to avoid the diurnal dinosaurs. Whereas the dinosaurs, having been diurnal for, hundreds of millions of years, had tetrachromacy in order to gain as much information from light. And so the extra bit of light that they can see is usually near UV. So birds can tell just by looking at you whether or not you have enough sunscreen on. So, also, this is a bit of an anecdote, but I was watching someone who was talking about having a pet tegu, which is a predatory lizard from South America. They're extremely intelligent, but he was going to take it outside for the first time to have a little walk, so he got a harness for it. And then he realized, this animal has never seen me under sunlight. I'm going to look different because it can see UV, and I'm going to start reflecting UV. Sure enough, the minute he took that animal out in sunlight and the animal looked at him, that was a stranger, and that thing went crazy. It started hissing and snapping at him, and yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, because suddenly there was UV light, because window glass is opaque to UV. So you look different to birds depending on whether they're seeing you through the window or outside.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true for lizards. So yeah, this interesting bits of anatomy. And the thing is, all of this makes sense in terms of evolution. In terms of God just doing it that way, why? Why do tegus have tetrachromacy and you only have trichromacy and your dog has dichromacy? Why? Why are there patterns where, like, only certain groups of mammals, like primates, have tetrachromacy? Whereas, not trichromacy.
Why
whereas tetrachromacy
is
just
the shrimp?
Well, there's that too, right? So, like, none of these things have explanations other than just, like, I guess it's just the capriciousness of God, which isn't an explanation for anything. Whereas in evolution, we actually have reasons for this. We can actually look and say, okay, what kinds of patterns should we expect if evolution is true in things like color vision? And lo and behold, the pattern of color vision in the animal world looks like what you might expect if evolution is true. Also, some cephalopods have color vision, but they don't have any color-sensitive receptor cells. And instead, they use the diffraction of different wavelengths across complicated shaped pupils to detect differences in color. So they use chromatic aberration for color detection, basically.
Pibblepunk says that if you have a spare room, Atigo makes an awesome pet, but then says just don't let them escape into the woods. And now I really want to know what happens when they escape into the woods.
Well, it depends on where you live. If they escaped into the woods up there in the frozen north, they just die because they're South American Amazon animals.
Yeah.
But if they escaped into the woods in, say, Florida, well, you might get a population of tegus, just like there's currently a population of anacondas. And also hepatitis monkeys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, eh?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of monkeys in Florida that are just feral, and a whole bunch of them have hepatitis C.
Man, that's crazy.
Hep C?
Mm-hmm. The deadly one. They're a
The
group
one
of
that
macaques.
alcoholics typically get.
Yeah, they're a group of macaques, and in macaques, Hep C is mostly asymptomatic. It just reproduces at low levels, causing no symptoms. You get Hep C, you might die. Yeah.
I mean, they do actually have a really effective treatment for that now.
They do now, but it's a serious disease. You do not want Hep C. Whereas
I know,
if you're a
my dad
macaque,
had it because, as I mentioned before, alcoholic. He actually participated in one of the test trials for that treatment.
for macaques, it's kind of like herpes simplex in humans, whereas like a lot of people have asymptomatic herpes simplex virus, and they can pass it on, but like they're never going to get a sore anywhere. They can't tell unless you test. Yep. So watch out if you're ever in southern Florida for the hepatitis monkeys, because they're a real thing.
Another reason I didn't already need to go to Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
Goddamn! And then we lose our cervical ribs.
Cervical.
Civical.
Civical ribs.
It's from
He
Latin.
took the R out of that and added it to the other word. He
To repenomamus, yeah. It's a cervical. It's from It's from Latin cervix, meaning neck. Your neck.
These are the very socially concerned ribs.
Yeah.
The civical ribs.
Also, the use of cervix in terms of the female reproductive tract is based on an analogy with the neck, right? Because it narrows there, like a neck does. So cervix, the basic meaning in Latin. Yeah. Unless you're, currently in labor, in which case your cervix dilates. But the idea is that we're naming things after their normal condition, and most people aren't in labor normally. It's usually a relatively temporary condition for most people.
Cervical ribs we lost. Only thoracic ribs remain.
You know what? I'm going to accept thoracic.
Wow.
It's thoracic, but you know what?
Sure. Yeah.
Is a reasonable interpretation for a C, so it's fine. It's thoracic,
We could
though.
get rid of any letter of the English alphabet. C.
What about X?
It just feels like this is a word he should have heard
Thoracic?
a whole bunch of times.
Like maybe in high school, like just learning the basics of human anatomy, you would have heard about like thoracic ribs or something, I don't know. But yeah, if you want to know whether or not
just a completely spurious letter, we don't need it. We already have the letter S for S sounds, and we have the letter K for K sounds.
I join you.
All right, from now
in
on,
your
everyone,
campaign to eliminate the letter C, Vish.
we're all going to start writing in Deseret, which is the best things the Mormons ever did. The Deseret alphabet. So, I mean, what is your complaint about the Deseret alphabet? See, great. I will say they do have some really cool bull carvings and some of their baptism fonts in their temples. You usually can't go see those. So,
Tetrachromatic vision drops to dichromatic.
Hey, yeah, I was just talking about that. I'm going to call that a confirmed prediction for no reason other than that I'm thirsty.
Huh.
We only need 8 more super
Says,
chats.
counterpoint, just use C for the S sound like in Cyrillic.
Could do that. Then what is S for? I guess S then becomes the sh
They
sound.
they don't use the S.
No, I guess
the Latin
just
S.
really that's the only useful function it serves at this point, right?
What is it? I think
just making the.
There's at least one language out there that I familiar with that uses C for the SH sound, uses S for the S sound, and K for the K. That's a neat little triad there. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $5 says, I'm not convinced that these people possess sufficient intellectual capacity to successfully execute phototaxis. Thank you. And I managed to say all those words.
Speaking of the S and the SH sound, I encountered something that was funny last night while I was watching the live stream of a now disgraced Egyptologist who encountered the two words Nachash, which means snake, and Lachash, which is a verb which means to whisper. And first he pronounced both of them correctly, but without the correct emphasis on the right syllable, as he is wont to do. But then, and for those who don't know, and I was just complaining about this in my Hebrew class this last week, the sheen and the seen is the same letter, but with the dot just either positioned over the right or the left side. And sometimes, if you're not paying close attention, you can mess that up, right? So he pronounces both of these correctly, but then corrects himself to say, oh, no, sorry, that's lachas. It's not.
So he incorrected himself.
So he incorrected himself, and then after that started just saying nachas and lachas.
Oh no. Okay,
It was pretty awesome.
Spelling reform for Hebrew. We get rid of seen, keep sheen, and then all instances that would have been seen are now samek.
Just samek. I mean, that's really what it should be.
Well, you know why they're separate letters, right? It's because samek used to be one of the emphatic consonants, but then Hebrew lost emphatic consonants entirely. Yeah. So it used to be an important distinction, but... Which also probably means that their seen and sheen used to both actually be the same sound, and then there was a merger in some part of the language that created what used to be allophonic variations to become two different phonemes.
Not a language.
Correct. And if we get enough super chats and people vote for it, I will explain why not. Let's see. Jason Ross says, for $5, what do you propose we replace CH with, then? I would propose TC for CH. As in church. That would be TC. Or you could just
import the Cyrillic. It kind of looks like a slightly rounded off letter, number 4.
You could
just import that.
But I'm trying to do something where, like, you could do a spelling reform in English where you don't have to buy a new keyboard. Or learn any fancy...
program that key to be that.
Yeah.
Something. It's fine.
But, so I would say that, like, if you wanted to spell a word like church, you could do TCURTC. Because you put them together, it's ch. That's literally what that sound is. It's a t followed by a sh sound. So I think TC is a good digraph for it. Because I'm not saying we have to get rid of all the digraphs, because that's not going to happen, right? Let's see. Gordon Love Science for $19.99 says, will these two jagoffs continue to mock evolution progression when it gets to human evolution? Absolutely they will. They definitely will. All right, here we go.
I don't know what a lot of that means.
Of course you don't.
It sounds very complex, doesn't
it? Nick, science is complex. Why do you think it should be simple? Do you think your anatomy is simple? Because creationists are usually going on about how amazingly complex and impossible to figure out all the biology stuff is, and how cool that is, and how cool that makes God, and it's also complicated. Why do you think it wouldn't be complex, man? You know how many parts there are in just your skeleton, dude? Because not even just bones, right? Your bones have parts of them. You've got, like, trochanters and fenestrae and fistulae and all sorts of crap like that. Sutures. All of this stuff is complicated, man. If you want to actually understand evolution enough to critique it, which you clearly don't, you're going to have to learn a lot of complicated stuff. That's why in my scripted videos, where I actually go after, like, higher grade stuff on average, because I don't want to just speak off the top of my head about relatively complicated topics like that, that's when I tend to go after people who actually have, like, educations in this, where it's harder to say that they're just ignorant, because they do have the enough education to know what a cervical rib is, which, by the way, The default for tetrapods is that there's basically a rib on every single one of the vertebrae, except for like the ones between the hip bones. And yeah, cervical ribs are ribs in the neck. Look at a skeleton of like a lizard, especially snakes, but including snakes. They got ribs the whole way. That's the default.
Ribs all the way
Mammals are
down.
weird. Yep. Just like spots on a trill. They go all the way down. Thanks, writers of Deep Space Nine, for giving us that line.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, why can't they just speak English when they're talking about this bullshit?
Oh my God, these guys are going to complain
Take a
about
drink.
not speaking
They
English.
barely speak
Oh,
English, and they're
like-
complaining. Oh my god!
You guys didn't know what
I mean,
was.
I have been restraining myself for ages, but I'm just gonna say fuck off with that. Seriously,
We get the one, and that is your
that
one.
that is a worthwhile expenditure there. God damn, you guys.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
wow.
guys, what is the non-technical English term for a cervical rib? Because I don't fucking know one. There's the second one. I owe myself $10. I'll do it later. Like, seriously, what is the English term that you would like for a cervical rib? Because I don't know of a non-technical term for a cervical rib because it doesn't come up that much. Right? It's not a normal thing people have to encounter. Like, when do you normally encounter that? What, when you, like, take out the neck from a turkey that you bought? That's a whole bird? You can make some turkey stock with it? Okay, but you're still not examining each rib individually. Anatomy has complex terms that you have to learn because, one, it's complicated, and two, we don't have regular old terms for this. Or for most of the things, right? Sometimes we do, right? Like, do you have to call it a patella? No, you can call it a kneecap. It's fine, whatever. But, like, if you want to talk about, like, you know, the little hole in your chin, what's the common word for that? Because there's a little hole in your jaw. It goes from right through. In humans, I believe it carries a nerve, if I remember correctly. But, like, what do you call that? There isn't a common word for it. What are you going to call the, like, you know, a trochanter on your femur? There isn't just a common word for that. So yeah, you got to come up with some complex stuff. And yeah, the scientific community landed centuries ago on using Latin and Greek terms. I'm sorry that's complicated for you. But at the time, to be fair, most people who were educated enough and, well, wealthy enough to spend time doing anatomy also knew Latin and Greek because it was part of the standard curriculum for anyone who was wealthy enough to have an education in the first place. And, like, I'm sorry that you guys don't know any Latin or Greek, although given how much time you pretend that you're talking about the Bible, maybe you should learn some.
Maybe learn some.
Yeah, at least Greek. At least
Yeah.
Greek.
This is one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're not up on the nomenclature, you don't have any business trying to debunk any of this stuff. Same thing that I say when I'm listening to people talk about the Bible. If you can't read, speak, write, or understand the languages they were written in, I don't really care what you have to say about the text.
But
If you're sitting here with any English translation trying to make an argument, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
my quick test for someone who's claiming to be able to read Koine Greek is, like, grab some New Testament and say, please point to 5 different definite articles in this text that are not the same word repeated over, but 5 separate forms of the definite article. Here you go. And if you can't do that, you don't know Greek, and I'm not going to pay attention to anything that you say about, well, the Greek says, because you don't know that.
Yeah, it was like this week I had to watch a video where this guy was trying to debunk Dan McClellan, I think it was, and he was sitting there with his English translation going, see, it says God had done this thing, and I was like, bitch,
No.
you are just telling everyone how ignorant you are, because had done, that's pluperfect, right? That's not a thing that exists in Hebrew. We don't get
There are
pluperfect.
constructions that can be reasonably translated as pluperfect, but
There's ways to do it.
yeah, but it also
Yeah,
it
there's
doesn't
ways
occur
to do it,
there.
and it's not there. So,
Which
yeah,
also,
I
Hebrew,
just
get more aspects if you're gonna not inflect for tense. Come on, man. Get more
No,
aspects.
but you don't understand, Dapper.
Oh, okay.
It's just a phony made up language.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that was
But it's
made
also
up
the
in
oldest
people
one.
invented on the back of a napkin. and it.
Oh,
you know,
right, yeah. It was just invented to
That's
do
some Ammon
horrible things
Hillman.
because conspiracies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Ammon
also, it's
Hillman.
the most ancient language ever. So, hey,
Well,
why not?
At least Ammon Hillman would not hold both of those positions at the same time. He would say that
That's
it
true.
is I believe he would say it's probably something that was created whole cloth in like maybe the 6th century BC or something. Which
he wouldn't go back that far.
500s?
He would be he would
Fifth
be
century, I
like
mean?
no.
Sorry.
I think he's probably 3rd,
Three.
2nd century
Jeez.
invention.
Imagine the idea
Yeah,
that
he's that dumb.
Hang on,
He really is that dumb.
In the chat, Rena Vath says that's like when people point to that one part in Daniel and they're like, look, Messiah is capitalized, and I just put my head in my hands.
Yeah, who did that capitalization? Was it the ancient Hebrew scribes that don't have capital letters at all? Was it them?
And why did they just pick that one time to translate it as Messiah and not anointed?
Mm-hmm. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, but Strong's Concordance says so.
For the win. Yeah.
I was actually trying to come up with like a good reason to use a concordance at all, and I just have never found one.
If anybody tries to support an argument with Strong's Concordance, no, I just toss it out. I just ignore them.
That's a Dapper's a professional. We did not get to 3,618%. Sorry about that. Here we go. Take a drink for that. I would like to get to 3,000 whatever percent. I'd probably take the rest of the year off. Sorry.
Okay, so I actually do need to dip out soon. I've got a group.
All right, well, tell people what you got coming up here.
Afternoon. Yes. Actually, I was going to ask the chat for advice. So, because of my crazy housing situation, I've, been looking around for a place to live, but that comes with a lot of auxiliary costs that I don't think I can afford right now. So, chat, do you recommend that I do a short-term fundraiser just so I can get out of this place, pay a deposit on a new place, and get settled? Or do you have like a different way to approach like the crap that I'm going through? You can leave it in the comments. If you want to like leave a message on my community posts or something, you can do that. But I would like to know what you think, because this is something that I've not really had to go through before. So I'm kind of at a loss of what the smartest, most practical decision should be.
By the way, I will send Vishanti screenshots of comments if you direct them at her. So if you put something like for Vishanti or Vishanti : or hey, this is for Vishanti, I will
also try to remember to check in periodically throughout the next few days on the comment section, because I don't normally do that. I try to avoid comment sections as a general rule, but for this one, I will go looking through them just to see what people's thoughts are on that.
We're gonna get you that gigantic mansion that no one wants in the middle of Hollywood. It's way too big for anything.
Why don't we all pitch in, like all of us together collectively, pitch in to buy David Lynch's estate, which is like
the whole
3
thing.
houses that are connected, and we can all like live there, and the people who are far away can just use it as a timeshare.
I don't know if I want that many roommates.
Well, they wouldn't have to be permanent roommates. They could treat it like maybe an Airbnb or something. Like, hey, I'm going to be in town, any place to stay, and then we just like, there you go.
Who's paying the enormous insurance on having thousands of people have access to this one
That's
property?
why we crowdfund.
Okay.
Also, there's enough film nerds in LA that I'm sure that they would be like, yo, if you let us tour the place occasionally, we can pitch in.
All right. Well, do you need to dip?
Yeah, I do. I gotta go get ready and prepare to get
on you dip
out and all those fun things.
And we, I think that you'll get some ideas. And have a great rest of your, what is it, Saturday, as much as you can.
Try to not have a stress breakdown.
Yeah.
Because I've been teetering on the edge of that for a while.
We'll talk to you later, and I'll replace you with some gameplay footage. So.
Bye. And that his estate is 8 mil, which is really low given the site plan. Yeah, and I think the suggestion to turn one of the 3 buildings on the property into a museum would be a really good idea.
I'm not sure that my audience is going to get together $8 million, though.
Not just yours.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, there's enough film nerds in LA alone to help pull this off. I'm just saying it's a suggestion. But anyway, I've got my wish list with some things on it, and yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye, Vish.
All right. We're gonna get a little bit more in, and we're gonna be ending soon anyway. It's barely dipping out early.
Yeah.
But hey, you get
Right.
to look at me in my my Flesh Terrors outfit for Space Marine 2. There you go.
Oh, cool. I'm not. Because it's I don't
they
see
want
it.
to
It's not in Discord
But
because it would be a
no,
hassle to
it's
put it in
not.
Discord. I couldn't share it and
Mhm.
this in Discord at the same time because I can only stream
No,
one
you
thing to
couldn't do that. That
Mhm.
makes sense to me as my my aging brain
By the way,
works
Kip,
its way
a
through
little
that.
while ago we were on a stream together, and I was using this footage as my webcam, and you thought I was live playing, and I at no point was I actually playing the game that you were watching.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's fun.
so you kept making comments, and I just didn't correct it because I'm like, it's funnier if he
That's
thinks I'm
hilarious.
actually playing.
Was that on the Christmas stream?
It was on. I think it was on Bad Science Sunday.
When were you and I on Bad Science Sunday together?
It wasn't. I don't think it was a regular
was
Bad
it-
Science
oh.
Sunday, but it was like it might have been a
okay.
special Christmas event or something. It was like I was there.
Wow, that would have been.
Leo Filius was there. You were there. Tapioca Weasel was there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, yeah, obviously Maya was there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Huh.
I'm gonna.
So was that last month or like a long
I
time
don't remember
ago?
how long
It
ago
doesn't
it
matter.
was.
It's
It was-
fine. Yeah.
They gotta
But that's
sound
funny.
smart because if
Oh
they use,
you guys are the dumb ones.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's the reason they do it, right? You
Yep.
guys, we're trying to pull the wool over your goddamn
It's-
eyes.
There's definitely no way in which complex fields of study require jargon to clearly communicate complex ideas without taking up entire paragraphs of explanation every single time you want to do it.
The thing is, right? Like, there's only so many words. Like at some point,
Rain of S says
they
no,
have
it
to
was the
get-
Christmas stream. I guess it was a Christmas stream. Sorry about that.
who said that?
Rain of Est.
Oh, Rena says it was. Oh, okay.
My memory failed me.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So that's what I remember. I remembered gameplay during my Christmas stream. So
Oh yeah, it was.
unless you,
But yeah,
so you weren't actually.
no.
Yeah.
I'm playing it
Okay.
no more than I am right now, which is to say, not at all.
Nice.
So
We didn't.
turns out that technical jargon exists because technical professionals in technical fields need to be able to relay complex ideas frequently with some with some ability to do so in a short amount of time. Right? Like I had to say every single time I wanted to talk about cervical ribs, if I had to say ribs that are attached to the spine bones of the neck, that would take a long time. I'm just going to say cervical ribs, right? I'm sure the same thing happens in biblical studies. Like, there's a reason that sometimes you just write out LXX and you don't say, like, that collection of Jewish scriptures and other writings which were translated into Greek between this year and this year BC in Alexandria. Like, it would be a nightmare to have to do that. And I'm sorry if that means that you who don't know anything about biology, Nick and Fad, come to something about biology and get a little confused. But here's the thing. If you want to critique biology, you gotta learn some biology so you know what the heck you're critiquing. Just like if I came to you guys and I said, well, you guys are stupid for being Christians. And you're like, oh yeah? Why is that? And I was like, well, because obviously Chris is a name in English from the 20th century, so why would some guy be named Jesus Chris? You would call me an idiot because not only did I get the word wrong, but also the name Chris comes from Christ in the first place. And you would be right to call me an idiot for it. So yeah, learn what the hell you're talking about. A little bit more in.
hey,
How about when y'all explain evolution, make it make sense?
It does make sense.
This sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. It makes sense to people who aren't intentionally making sure that they don't understand it, and also who aren't going out of their way to just not understand the basics of biology. Because at this point, I think that they're trying to be ignorant. Because they're in that area of Christianity, as far as I can tell, that is deeply anti-intellectual, that does not like college education or
yeah.
book learning, even though the Bible's a book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or I suppose it's a bunch of books,
I
but
mean,
it often
some
gets
of-
bound together. So.
like, of course, yes. I mean, it is a book. It's become a book, right? So, we don't need to quibble about that. But
Fair.
like, I kind of get it because I came out of this world when I was a kid, and a lot of these things are just not intuitive, and people, generally speaking, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are just really intellectually lazy.
Mm-hmm. It's
And it you know, if it requires just the smallest bit of effort in order to think through or to research something or to read up on a little bit more or to ensure that you do understand the concepts that are presented to you, so many people are just not going to bother, and that's depressing.
It is. But what I wish, like, I don't think people are ever going to bother on all the topics like this. What I would wish is that the people who didn't bother would at the very least realize that they don't have anything to add to the conversation because they haven't bothered, and then shut the hell up. Just
Right.
shh. Fine. We don't need your input if you have not bothered to learn anything about this. Now. Yep. All right, so, Kip, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Tell people what's up.
That is
Go.
Wow, that's a lot of time. So I published a video this last week with Maya Atkinson and Dr. Joshua Bowen. If you haven't watched it, you should go check it out. I think it's pretty great. And then for this week, tomorrow I will probably make an appearance at Nerd Church. I had linked it in the description there earlier. I wonder if I can. No, I don't. Oh well. So yeah, it's tomorrow at 3:00 Pacific, 6:00 Eastern. I think it runs for like an hour, maybe a little bit more than that. And then I'll be back on Thursday for Kitty at Tibrit, which is the show where I and a special guest read through Hebrew text for an hour. It's really fun.
Why don't
That's
you
at
just read
5
through the
o'clock.
Greek originals?
Because that's less fun.
Okay.
5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm getting extra time now, right? Because you
Nope, gotta go.
interrupted
Keep
me,
going. You got a minute.
I assume. Oh,
Go,
fuck.
go.
Okay. So yeah, come and check that out. It's now weekly, and then I'll be back on Friday with CJ Cornthwaite is going to be on my channel, and we're going to be looking at some more of a recent live stream that was on Inspiring Philosophy with Michael Jones and then Christopoulos, and then I'll be back here next Saturday. So
All right.
I think that's my week. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think that was pretty good. All right, so coming up on this channel on Tuesday, we got Matt with Maddie. I have confirmed with Maddie; she is up for it. Then on Thursday, we have a scripted video for me. That is going to be Catholic geocentrism depends on bad philosophy. So we're going to be taking a look at a Catholic, trad Cathy kind of guy, who is arguing in favor of geocentrism and saying that in terms of the Galileo affair, the Inquisition was right, actually. Which is, I mean, it's a take. So then on, later on that day, I need to double check, but I believe I'm going to be appearing on another channel to talk about some stuff related to that. I have to double check and see when that's scheduled and whatnot, but that is a thing that I think is happening. I will send out links when I get that confirmation and I get the link. Then on Friday, right now, the plan is that we are going to be doing some Star Trek adventures. It's not completely guaranteed because we know that Craig won't be able to make it, and so there's a fair chance it'll get canceled if anyone else can't make it. But still, if it gets canceled, I will still go live on Top Hats Off. Then next Saturday, yeah, I'll be back here, presumably with Kip and Bashanti. So that sums it up. If you are interested, if you have access to my Discord server, and you want to watch Godzilla the Planet Eater, the third part of the Netflix anime trilogy of Godzilla films, we're going to be watching that over there. Other than that, I hope that you stay safe out there. I don't know, tell your loved ones that you love them, give them a hug. And furthermore, ICE must be abolished because they're a bunch of murderous Nazis.
God damn it. Yeah.
Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Benthovend, Tapioca Weasel, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Ian Chen, Eleron Teller, Felgevara, Kelvin Brostek van Manen, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Dan Sheedy, Pegajace, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Love Science, Prixie Purple, Agricola Sequa, S. Kenneth Swenson, Edwin M., Lance Hall, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.